Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another ZCI Spotlight interview. Welcome, you guys. Come on in. I'm super excited to have with us today the Excavator coach. Okay, it's going down. You guys be sure to invite, tag, and share. Okay, it's going down. For those of you who are new, to our ZCI Spotlight. Welcome. I'm Robin Robbins, the CEO and facilitator of ZCI Academy, better yet known as Zoe Coaching International, where we have the amazing honor to train and certify coaches and consultants. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this. Again, you guys make sure you invite, you share, you tag. All right, for other aspiring coaches or others that are just really looking to get to their next. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring the Excavator coach on.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Happy Tuesday.
I am well. Happy Tuesday to you too. So let's go ahead and jump right in because I know you have gems. Okay.
I hope I have some gems for you. I really do.
We're not going to even belabor the moment. Let's just go ahead and jump in. So, Coach, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Who am I? That's a very good question today. I am Coach Recondius Obrien. I am an entrepreneur. I am a minister. I am a life coach. I'm a trauma coach. I am a business consultant. I am an author. I am a parent. I am a son. I am a Black man. I am that I am.
Hey.
Yeah,
you see how they start?
What happened?
I said, you see how you're starting already? I love it. So tell us the type of coach you are and who it is that you are here to serve.
Okay, so in real life, I am a life coach that aspires. My audience is more for someone who has been impacted or infected by trauma. And because I've had to endure or overcome my own trauma, I can speak to trauma. I know trauma when I see it, when I hear it, even when I feel it. And so I specialize in trauma simply because not only does the work continue, but trauma is something that if you don't deal with it, it shows up in other areas of your life. And they are hard stops. Trauma represents hard stops in your life. And I know that to be true because more often than not, when you're dealing with trauma, you're not understanding what just happened, but you literally are stopped where you are because the pain is so familiar and you've not taken an opportunity to deal with it. And so that's my specialty is for those persons who are really ready to overcome those hurdles, are ready to do a different thing. Am I a specialist? I can only specialize in what my experiences, and if it's something that I can't do personally within my realm or my scope of exploration, then I am smart enough to say, hey, you know what? I have taken you as far as I can. And that, we have to honor that. Some people are just bridges and some people are avenues. Some people are intersections. Some people are intersections and we are, if that's what I am, I'm smart enough to say, hey, I can take you here, but I'm going to let this person take you there. I would like to refer. I'm so big on referrals. I love to be able to refer people. If I can't do it, I have no issue whatsoever with saying, hey, I can take you to the next, this person can take you further.
Wow. That is so amazing and so wonderful. It really is. So, I hear a little bit of an echo.
Just a little bit. Just a teeny.
Is there an echo? I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. Okay. Alana said, "Come on, sir."
You know, that's my sister. That's my sister right there. You know, she gonna cheer me. That's my girl.
Yes. I love it, y'all. Remember to tag, share, and invite. That you listen, y'all. You see me, right? I'm a little messed up.
No, how? Why? We just started. Come on now.
That was powerful.
We just started.
Like, what? How far would we be as a society, as a community, as a culture, as a whole, if we all understood our places and honored them, versus trying to be an avenue when you know you're called to be a bridge, or trying to be an intersection when you know you're supposed to be an avenue? Like that right there, that took me up.
So listen.
That took me up.
So listen, let me tell you what I know for sure. What I know for sure is that, you know, a recipe doesn't call for one thing and it's a complete dish. It doesn't. There are many parts of a recipe that make it unique and it makes it savory or sweet. But if you're part of the recipe and you miss your part, that it will not taste the same. It won't be, the experience won't be the same. When you look at people in business, what is the recipe for their success? When they alter the recipe, especially when they alter it and they're not able to say what made them offer it, they will they are literally, their target market, their audience, everything changes. We have to be very cognizant of what our roles are and what is our piece in the recipe. Because if you're called to be salt and you kind of show up as pepper, it just doesn't have the same effect. It just doesn't. It just
okay. And on that note, and on that note, we're gonna move along.
Okay, all right.
To the next question. Y'all, you know what? I don't know why
we do this. Why do we do this to each other? Why do we do this?
Why? Like, I'm telling you, this ZCI interview series, like this has just been, y'all are just, I'm speechless. That's it. Did y'all hear that? The international speaker is speechless.
Come on.
Yeah, we just gonna move along. I'm not gonna even try. We're gonna move along. Okay. So talk to us, Recondius.
Okay.
You know, we know who you serve and all of that, but you know, I gotta get into this.
Okay.
Why the Excavator? You could have just called yourself, you know, there are a lot of trauma coaches out here that, you know, say all the time, you know, oh, I'm a trauma coach, or I'm a life recovery coach,
right.
Or I'm a, you know, what made you say, that's it, I'm the Excavator?
Well, I'll be very transparent and tell you that while I've always known, even prior to enrolling in GCI, that I have the ability to speak to trauma. I've always known that because I had to do the work to overcome it. That's the first thing. However, Alonda said, he's the Excavator. And literally, but she got that, if I'm not mistaken, from one of my tags. I like to dig it up. Because what I know for sure is, and this is funny, but you'll get it. Dr. Pimple Popper, before she can do any type of procedure, she has to find out how to get to the root of the problem. When you're digging up a tree, before you begin to cut down a tree, you got to know how far the roots are and how far you can cut in order for you to get it all up, or else the tree returns. Trauma is the same way. If you surfacely cut off the top of it, you look up and you're reminded of that same thing because you didn't get to the root of it. Digging at the excavator coach, and when I think of excavator, I see a bulldozer, and he literally has the claw, and he is able to get to the root of a thing, and literally, whether you are compliant or not, he's gonna pull it up. And you got to be, and that's the way trauma is. Unfortunately, is it painful? It can be if you don't acknowledge it, and that's I heard something yesterday, and I'll share it with you in a moment. If you don't acknowledge it, it's going to remind you that it's there.
Oh yeah.
And so we have to be cognizant of when you get ready to dig it up, be ready, because it's coming for everything that you thought you knew. It's pulling at that. And so that's why the excavator coach was apropos for my life as a coach, because I want you to be honest with yourself and honest with your spirit, honest with your soul, and say, I deserve to be whole.
Absolutely. You're talking about right there. You talk about that tree and the roots. You're actually inside of my book, inside of my publication, right through there. Yeah, that right there is real. That is so real. And oftentimes we roughshod. We often don't. Many people don't want to deal with the root. Because we are an instant, type of gratification. I got to get it instantly. We tend to fall into the bracket of dealing with a whole bunch of symptoms. But we have to recognize that now, mind you, there are going to be times where, depending on the situation, is going to call for you to deal with the symptom first.
Yeah.
In order to get to the root. Right. But then there are most times where it's like you're going to keep experiencing the symptoms because you refuse to deal with the root.
Right.
And so it takes discernment to know at this particular time with this particular person in this particular space, which way and which route is needful to go. And so I definitely applaud you on that. That's so good. So rich for me. So super rich. I know we could talk a lot on that, so I'm going to move us because I got a lot I want to ask you.
Okay, well, let me give you this. I'm going to give you this, and then I want you to go forward. The thing is that what I've come to understand is we're so familiar with the pain that we never want to get in bed with the healing. And unfortunately, that's really why we stay in that space. Pain is familiar, but healing is also familiar if you allow it to be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the real part of it for me. It's just the real part. All right, so go for it.
Yes, no, it's okay. So absolutely. So that actually brings something else to mind at the moment. Actually, do you think that healing is traumatizing within itself? Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a good question, and I'm gonna tell you, that's such a powerful question. If you fight healing, of course, it could be traumatizing. If you fight it, if you're resistant to it, and you go with it, if you go in with it, okay. So one of the things I wanted to share with you, I heard someone say yesterday. This guy was listening to a podcast, and this guy said that he suffers with anxiety. Mm-hmm. And he said, I've never said that out loud. He said, but when I get up in the morning, I decide how I want to address anxiety. If I want to be mad with it, then I go on about your business. He said, there's some days I have to cuddle with it because it's part of my process. He said, there are other times when I am, like, I can't deal with you today, and I'm not going to deal with you today. So I think that healing can be, you can akin that to healing because the thing about healing is that it's there, it's for us. Mm-hmm. But most times we don't embrace it because of the work that is required for us to get there. So yes, healing can be traumatizing simply because people really and truly, their work piece. But yet we get up and go to jobs that are fruitless. We serve in churches that are not serving us. But we won't do the work for our own selves.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just like, Today I'm digging some stuff up in my own life and understanding what I need in order to be the best me when I show up.
Absolutely. So I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. Do you have?
I hear it. I don't hear it. I only hear it from your side, so I don't know what that is.
Oh, y'all. That's okay. So, for me, that is so real, Recondius. Thank you so much for shedding light on that. For me, in my own process and what I have, coached even others through, healing actually can be very traumatic.
Absolutely.
In the sense of, in order to move forward, sometimes it causes one to have to go back and relive in order to move forward. And as coaches, our job is not to even really sit in the place where you're wallowing in what was and what happened and what didn't work and all that good stuff, but to move the client forward. Okay, we
Yeah,
want to acknowledge where you are, right?
absolutely.
And sometimes that comes with a bit of background, but one must be willing to move forward. And I love how you highlighted that that's the doing the work. If you want to move forward, there is a call for work. We cannot move forward move you forward as a coach or close the gap from where you are and where you even want to be as a person if you are not willing to do the work. And in doing the work, it may call for one to
Yeah.
have to take a trip back.
Yeah. You remember I said the hard stops?
Things.
You remember I referenced hard stops in the beginning?
Yes.
And that when you're dealing with that can be a hard stop. Literally, because you understand and you know what's interesting, as I wrote my book, I had to go back to my 3-4-year-old self and relive conversations that I heard as a child that were not meant for me, and had to deal with how that made me feel as a 3-4-year-old. It gave me uncertainty. It gave me insecurity when I didn't even know what the word meant.
Yeah.
However, what I intended to do was not only show what I endured, but show that I overcame it because I acknowledged him. I acknowledged his hurt. At 49, when I wrote the book, I acknowledged my 3-year-old self and said, hey, it happened. You heard it. It did not define you. It will not define you. We will move forward. You good? I even asked him, I said, you good? And as I look back at myself, he nodded. He said, yeah, we good. Let's move forward.
Yeah. That is so powerful. What I'm learning, even in my own journey, and as I help others, I'm learning that healing really is just healing the childhood and healing the inner child, the inner daughter, or the inner son, or the inner boy, or the inner girl within. That's really, really honestly what healing is, because a lot of those past experiences is what shapes our perspectives of how we move forward in life now as adults. So again, it just attributes to what we're saying about being able to take that trip back, because that's really where that magic has to happen. And I love how you had that conversation with your 3-year-old self, and how you had the conversation, how you loved on him and said, yeah, come on, let's do this. We gonna go ahead and move forward.
Absolutely.
We could do this thing. I call it releasing your younger self in love. Right?
And you know what? We probably should co-write a book on that. We should probably, no, I'm for real, because when I tell you, just in conversations yesterday, having to unlearn and relearn the bad behavior, the tapestry of our lives, the colors of our lives are shaped in our adolescence, in our youth. And a lot of it was wrong because we were given what was given to them. A lot of what we have become our lifestyles and become us is what somebody else's experience was. It was never meant for us. And then we sit up trying to navigate, why does this feel so uncomfortable to me? Because it's not yours. It's not yours. It was never yours. But yet we live in that space. We exist in that space because that's what we were taught.
You know what? I'm trying to hold myself. I really am. Okay. All right. Take 5. Take 5. Listen. I hope y'all are hearing what is being. I just knew it. I just said, Lord, this is gonna be one for the books.
Listen. I'm trying to be contained, but this is my truth. This is what I know for sure. And not to steal a cliche, but this is what I know for sure. Having to just navigate. I oftentimes think back of the first time I heard a thing, or the first time that something was relevant to me, or whether I was familiar, and I said, "Wow, but I don't even like that. That's not it. Why am I doing that?"
It is remarkable to me how in our adolescence and in those environments that we grow up in, it is remarkable to me how we pick up and begin to carry things that are not even ours, that doesn't belong to ours, because when you're that innocent and that is that much purity there's no boundaries in understanding. All we understand is, oh, this is mommy and this is daddy, or this is auntie, or we understand it in those confines, but there's such a purity and a level of innocence that's there that we will gladly, unknowingly pick up language, behaviors, sayings, thought patterns, all of that. It's not even ours.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones that I like to say, because I know everybody can identify with, is the one where, my grandmother used to say all the time, well, y'all tear up the devil and money don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you grow up hearing these things that get subconsciously embedded, right?
Money does grow on trees.
That part, that's what I always say all the time. It's your conscious, your unconscious, and your subconscious.
Yes.
And so you got all of that working, and you're hearing these things, and you're taking it in, and it's giving you blockage in the realm of finances. It's giving you, or maybe another saying, is giving you a blockage somewhere else. And what I had to say when I was doing my work, I said, you know what? No, Grandma, the truth is money does grow on trees. When we actually do the research, there are several ways money is made, but one of them is from trees. Yeah. And so therefore, every time I see a tree, God, I thank you for that tree, because there is a surplus of money. I can't hear nobody. Yeah. There's a surplus.
It's a surplus.
Come on, it doesn't even run out.
We're not even taught what surplus means.
See?
That's part of that trauma. Because I keep embedding in you that there's lack. And so guess what I aspire towards? Lack.
Exactly.
Those are the things that we have to unlearn and relearn and understand. Like I just had a conversation today with my boss about financial literacy and understanding that as African Americans, we can blame every single person in the world that we want to blame for what we don't know. Mm-hmm. But when you are aware that you're unknowledged, that you have now resources to be able to be learned and taught how to manage the things that were not given to you. It's no longer an excuse what someone didn't give you. And it's the same thing for your healing. It's no longer an excuse.
Absolutely.
If you want to be bound up, you can be bound up. But you have got to understand what it's your responsibility. It's your responsibility.
That part right there. That's what I say all the time. It is when we all understand that it is our responsibility to heal, then that saying hurting people will no longer exist. But we all have got to understand it is our responsibility. Like you just said, we know what happened with Pukina. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we know what happened. We know what happened. We know what was said. We know what they said. We get it. But now that as an adult,
what do I do with it?
We have that responsibility
to
gain the literacy that is needed, period, in life, period. Yeah. It's a part of stewardship.
Well, wait. You can't say it's a part of stewardship unless you understand what stewardship is. And stewardship is, I am accountable for what is given to me. Mm-hmm. Whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, I am accountable for how I handle what is given to me. The management of whether it be your pain, your growth, your wealth, your health. When you said something about being well, even when you go to the hospital, they get you past the critical point and then they send you home with a list of instructions on how to heal. Mm-hmm. So it's your responsibility if you want to follow through with the healing. It's your responsibility if you want to be financially savvy. It's your responsibility if you no longer want to be a victim of what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Yes. Talk about that. See, for me, I'm in agreement. I believe stewardship is everything that you say. But can I raise this? Just so you guys know, one of the reasons why this interview is going this way is because we always have this intellectual, spiritual banter. We literally sharpen one another. Yeah, so what you guys are witnessing is what we do in private. Okay?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
We do this in private in real life. Yeah. So, but can I raise you this?
Raise it.
Yeah. If stewardship is those things, you're absolutely right. It is our responsibility to manage the things given to us. Can we also say that as an adult, in terms of unlearning and relearning, would it also not be stewardship to go after and then manage the things that wasn't given to you? Because now we have the responsibility.
Yes.
So in my mind, stewardship is cognizant of both realms.
Yes.
I have to steward over what was given to me, but if it's my responsibility and I have to go get it, it's my responsibility to steward as I go get it. Yes. It is my responsibility to steward as I attain it. It's my responsibility as a whole.
And what is it?
That's the part that we get lackadaisical on, that enables, I believe, individuals to say, well, you know what, I didn't learn that growing up, but they didn't teach me. Well, I didn't see. That's that. Oh, I'll lean on it because it wasn't given to me. But as an adult, if I go after a thing because I understand that where I am is not where I want to be, and there's going to be literacy and resources and things that is necessary for me to get to where I want to go, then that is also a part of my stewardship journey.
It is.
And that is also something I must steward.
It's your discipline. Are you disciplined enough to go after the thing that wasn't given to you and then manage it so that it's absolutely fruitful for your life? That's so good. That's so good right there. That's so good right there. Like I will chew on that for the rest of the night.
I'm going to chew on this whole interview. Okay, for the rest of the day. Woo! Okay, Coach. All right. I just love. Okay. So talk to us as to what made you want to become a coach. What made you say, that's it. I need to do that.
I've been doing it for free for all my life. I've been doing it for free. And so this is a fun fact that I did not share during my 50 fun facts since I turned 50. The reason why I went to culinary school was because I felt like I had done everything that I knew how to do as it related to styling hair. I was like, maybe it's time for me to choose something else. But I know that I can only be successful if I do something that I love. So I went to culinary school because now, while I knew how to cook, I played dumb for 2.5 years. And I allowed them to give me the tools that I did not have to become a successful chef. So when I decided to become a coach, a certified coach, I knew how to navigate. And I was literally dissuaded by several people who said, you don't need to, you've been doing it already. But I knew that there were tools that you would be able to give me that would give life to what I already had. See, you can't give me my experience, but you can give me tools of how to manage my experience and how to monetize my experience. And so those 3 days, like I literally could not wait the next morning to get up and start over, because I knew that you would give me something. And because you married life experience with your professional experience, it was also very evident to me that I was making the right decision. Becoming a life coach was not so that I could just have a title or a certificate on the wall. I literally want to see people well. I want to see the dead clothes fall off. I want people to come forth fully emerge as God sees them, as you. Like I wish, and more recently, I see people in spirit, which is really uncomfortable sometimes, but God allows me to see the broken places. And so I have to wait until you allow me into that space. But when you do, I can now tell you how I see you. So I became a coach because I've been doing it for free. And I told God, I don't want to ever not acknowledge what he has given me. I literally, during the pandemic, when the pandemic started on March 17th of 2020, I had just been diagnosed with bladder cancer. And as I sat here processing that, I said, God, when we come out of this, I don't want to come out of this the same way that I'm going in. I need for you to speak to every dormant gift that you have given me and allow it to come forth, which is why I was able to write a book in 5 months. Because I did not want those things to continue to be dormant. And while it's uncomfortable to feel the things that I have pressed down that are giftings, and literally it was uncomfortable to, oh, God, you're not going to let me forget that? No, because I gave it to you. I put it inside of you for you to use. So becoming a life coach was basically just a continuation of what I do every day, but I had to be able to monetize it. And I will tell you, being transparent, I have been attacked ever since the day that I made the decision to do it.
Wow.
I have had to navigate some things in my own life that literally were uncomfortable. But because this is who I say I am, I'm going to be a good steward over it. And I'm going to use the discipline that I require my clients to use and navigate through it.
See, that's good talk right there. That is real good talk right there. I absolutely 150% agree. Any coach out there, whether it's certified through us or not, it doesn't matter. If you cannot demonstrate what you teach to others for yourself, then Houston, we have a problem.
A whole problem.
We have a whole entire problem.
No problem, yeah.
And I am a huge advocate for mirror coaching. I coach myself.
Yep.
Listen, I coach myself. I do invest in other coaches and mentors and things of that nature, because again, we can't be in the industry wanting people to invest with us, but we are not willing to in turn invest in the thing that we believe that we are called to do.
Absolutely.
So that whole trifecta going on right through there, I love that. And it speaks volumes in terms of integrity and work ethic. That is so huge. Believe it or not, there are coaches out here that call themselves coaches have never had a coaching experience, have never invested in a coach, and do not practice the very tools and skill set and fundamentals that they may have learned for those who get trained as a coach in their everyday life. Yeah. I can stand flat-footed. You can stand flat-footed because we know that coaching works. Well, yeah. How is that? We've been coached.
Yeah.
How is that? We coach ourselves.
Yep.
I can stand behind that 150%, right? That's huge. I love that. Love that. Totally salute you for that. So talk to us about, I'm going to do this. Give me your top 3 shifts for those listening right now, for those who will catch the replays, for those chiming in on YouTube. Talk to us. What are your top 3 tips as an excavator coach, as a coach that deals with clients on moving forward from trauma? What are the top 3 shifts that you have that you believe can begin to be implemented today to push people along in their journey of healing?
The first thing that comes to my mind is acknowledge that there is pain. Acknowledge that something is there. And when I say acknowledge, you can't always see a bruise, but if you touch it, it's tender. Mm-hmm. You got to acknowledge that that's there. That's the first thing. Once you acknowledge that thing, you have to take responsibility for your part. What do I mean by that? I was an innocent bystander and I didn't say anything, or I did not speak up for myself as it was happening, or I decided that it was best that I didn't say anything for the shame that was associated with it. Mm. So we have to acknowledge it, and then we have to take our responsibility. What part did I play? Yeah. Was I innocent and I didn't tell anyone? Was I too ashamed to tell anyone? Or did I just not speak up for myself because I felt like I deserved that? Mm. Mm. So, and then the third thing is this: do not be afraid to say, I'm hurting. Acknowledge the pain, take your responsibility, and then decide that you want to do the work to move forward. Because I can tell you that in the acknowledgement, we can literally press that down. We can press that down and not ever go back to it again. But once we take responsibility for it, then we have to choose action. We have to choose an action, which is don't be afraid to say I'm hurting, because then the right person will hear you and decide how to help you or point you in a direction of, and I really wish when I hear different things or different scenarios or people, and I'm gonna tell you something, and y'all know you know this, our ears become keen to the sound of our people. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I can hear trauma in an ordinary conversation. I can hear where it hurts, mm-hmm. and which is heavy in some regards, mm-hmm. but I can hear where it hurts, and I have to now decide how do I manage what I heard.
Yeah.
And meaning that because you can't run up and say, well, I'm a life coach, I'm a trauma coach, and whatever, you need my assistance. I have got to allow you to acknowledge that is something you want to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, that was so good, y'all. I hope y'all caught those 3 gems. I hope y'all are catching this. So this is what I want to kind of explore really briefly, because I have about 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
So in terms of, coaching, this interview series is about being fully transparent and raw. And we want people to know coaching is great. It's amazing when you are called to it, but there are highs and lows.
Yes,
and so just like I've been asking everyone that comes along this series, I want to ask you, as a coach and in your experience thus far, what has been a high point for you where you was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And then also, what was like one of your lowest points as far as a coach in your journey?
Great question. So one of the highs for me is when you can knock down a wall. When you can knock down a wall, meaning that, so I had a client, and when the light came on for him, it literally illuminated the entire process. I could see that he was lighter and he felt better, and he acknowledged that that was growth for him. But one of the lows is because, unfortunately, I still sometimes lead with my heart.
Yeah.
One of the lows is that when someone stops the process before they get to the complete wellness that they need. And it's not that they just, it's a lot of work. Like you said, can healing be traumatizing? Yes, because everybody's not willing to look at that forward-facing mirror or decide that they want to continue digging, because see, there are layers. In some traumas, there are layers to that trauma.
Yes.
And you have to be able to literally say to yourself, I'm going to not stop until I get to the core of this thing. So that was a low for me, when one of my clients was not able to. He went as far as he could, and I think that I gave him great tools to be able to move forward. But I also had to give myself grace to say that I did what I was supposed to do for that time.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things that I absolutely love, and that is being able to see the many facets and different expressions in coaching.
Right.
No one is the same, and that's one of the things that I love the most about it. Everyone is able to move in what their grace. They're able to move in their calling and what their
Right.
purpose to do. And depending on what you are doing in coaching, there's heaviness like that.
Yeah.
Not every coach has to deal with that level of heaviness, and I'm mentioning that because I want to highlight that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just think, oh, I'm gonna get trained, I'm gonna get certified, I'm gonna become a coach, and I'm gonna do this. Well, someone that's doing, sales coaching, there's going to be stressors and challenges and everything, but you're not going to feel a heavy weight like that with sales coaching.
Yeah.
You're doing some type of personal development. I mean, it could get a little heavy, but again, not really, because, you would, at that state, you would be referring out, right? So it's different. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to have this interview with one who is on the heavier side of coaching, like myself, I don't have too many people that can vibe with me in this space as a coach, because they will not understand it. They may even say, well, oh, don't you think you need to refer out? Because, according to coaching, there's certain things legally we don't handle. And if you need a therapist, a counselor, we refer you out.
Yeah, we do.
But a lot of people sometimes automatically think that, and not understanding that, no, we're not trying to be therapists. No, we're not trying to be counselors. But in order to do the work we do, we have to get that background information.
Yeah. And it's about the pieces. It's about putting the pieces together. It's about, and it's almost like an outline of the story. It's how do we get to the story? We know the outcome of where we are right now. What are the pieces behind the scenes that got you to this space? And how do we either end the story or make the story have a better ending?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really, I'm grateful, and it's interesting because we always click in. We always click in, and we be trying to, my sister and I say, when we going out, we don't go in. When we going out, we always manage. We out now, so here we are.
Right, we're here. There's nothing we can do about it. Absolutely, absolutely love it. So, Coach, tell me what you have going on. Where are you? What's coming up? How can people connect with you? How can
Well,
people work with you? What you got going on?
well, you know what? You can connect with me either on my website at the www.theoexperience.com. You can connect with me on Facebook. I'm Recondius Obrien Lynch. Or no, I'm sorry, the O Experience on Facebook as well. My IG is at Recondius Obrien. Any of those methods work for me because I am consistently. I believe that if you send me a message, it is my responsibility to respond. I am open and available. You can also leave messages on any of those sites to let me know that you're interested in working with me. I am working. My outline is complete for my second book. I am ready to start working. I got a message yesterday from a young lady who I've known most of her life. She was like, "Oh my God, your book is helping me navigate through my life today." She's like, "Please tell me there will be another part." And so that blessed me because I needed that push. I needed that boost. Because whether, anyone believes it or not, as hard as the work is, to know that the work is being appreciated means the world for continuation. You know what I'm saying? I could write all these books in the world, but if your life is not being changed, then what's the point? I don't believe in doing busy work. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in doing busy work. I'm used to, and I want to see the fruit from my life, whether it be, I don't necessarily need to see it from my tree, but if I see you blossoming over there from something that I was able to plant or to enrich your life with, then, hey, baby, be bountiful, grow. So I'm working on that, working on the book actually, and also understanding that learning to hear the sound of my truth in my ears and appreciating that. And so I'm trying to see how God wants me to, what he wants me to do with that. Because when I speak and people say, what you say changed my life, or what you said changed my life, I want to know how I am to orchestrate and use that so that more lives are affected or impacted. I leave home every day with whose life can I make a difference in today? That's the thought that I have when I leave home. Whose life can I make a difference in today? And one of the models I've adapted, every day I can't move a mountain. Some days I'm just going to kick a rock. But as long as something is moving, then momentum is happening. And so that's how I kind of just go through the day. Some days, you're not feeling as fruitful as you did yesterday. Yesterday, I cut down a tree and chopped up wood and served everybody. But today I got a splinter.
Listen, that is so real.
But I mean, and that's real life. So, I am always working, always wanting to do what I love, and that is help other people realize their greatest potential. Am I busy? Absolutely. But I'm never too busy to change someone's life or to help someone change their life. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. And really quickly, lastly, just leave us with some words of wisdom in terms of the person that's watching this, that's like, wow, I didn't know that there could be that many expressions. I've been kind of thinking about it and I feel called. But what would you say to the person that feels like this is the work that they're supposed to be doing in the way that it's been given to them? What would be your words of wisdom?
Another good question. So I will say this. Upon signing up for ZCI, we talked about it. You and I talked about it, and we both confirmed that there was something there. The thing about it is this: if you revisit a thing, or something is revisited, whether it be in your psyche, in your dream, in your mind, even in your spirit or your heart, if something is being revisited, then there is purpose for that. And we have to acknowledge that. You have to take responsibility for that. And then, and then decide, but this is the part that I think that is really impactful. You have to know who you want to impart into you to go out and serve. What does that mean? I trusted you with my vulnerability and me not knowing all of the pieces that I needed to know to be the best coach. I still refer to my notes, and I took tons of notes, and I still go back to my book and my manual and read before I ever start a new client. I go back through and just refresh, my mind. I know my style. I know how to get to the root of a thing, but I go back and ensure that I'm taking all of the necessary steps to keep my mind fresh. So I think it's important that you connect with the person that is going to pull the best out of you as it relates to your needs as a coach. As you said before, there are layers to being a coach. Everybody's not an excavator coach. I chose what I wanted to see, who I want to see change, because I know that for the years that the trauma was impacted, it was harder to dig up. It was harder to dig up. And so I want people to get free quicker than I did, if that's possible. I want people to get to their greatness, or realize their potential, earlier than I did, because I'm in place and you can trust me. So knowing who you want to impart into you, and I don't say this, this is not a paid advertisement, but the thing that I love about ZCI is that the people that I connected with in that class, we will be connected forever, because each one of them at some point or some time have poured back into me, and I'm able to pour into them. When I get a text or a call and say, hey bro, you good? I was thinking about you. Or bro, like that was amazing what you posted. Or bro, like I saw the interview. It was like, those people did not know me prior to me connecting with ZCI, but those people will be lifelong friends and connections, because I need to know that I'm supported in what I'm doing. I don't know how many coaching programs there are, but if you're not able to have someone that you can lean on in your process, whether it be from someone for your class or a referral or whatever, but I was able to get that as ZCI, and it was organic. That's what was amazing. It was organic. It was never a process where you forced us to like each other. You didn't force us to exchange phone numbers. We did that on our own. And as a result of it, as you saw when we gave you a tribute for your birthday, that was such an amazing time for all of us to just show you or say to you what your contribution has meant to us. So again, you asked the question, what would I say to someone who wants to embark upon a coaching program? Understand your why. Understand your why. Why is that thing nagging you? Why is that thing, it's a constant thought? And then know who's imparting into you, and know that if you decide to sign up in this program, you will be challenged, you will be met at the door, you will be heard, and you will learn how to be a great coach. And so for me, I think that's, I don't think I can have to belabor that point. I think you get it. It's definitely, it's one of the best decisions that I made of 2020. Honestly, it was, and I think I fell right into that after I hit send for my final manuscript going. We literally I think the next weekend we went right into the program, and then not long after that I went into the program for consulting. So I just think that it was necessary. It was apropos. It was convenient. I tried to show up every single day ready and open to the possibility, and I'm just grateful that I have no qualms about it, and no regrets whatsoever.
Awesome. This has been an amazing interview. Oh my goodness. I hope you all are just as full as me. Don't forget to invite, tag, and share with others that are in their healing process, that are in need of the excavator, and also those who just been wanting insights about what the coaching world is like. All right. So thank you so much, Coach Recondius. I truly do appreciate you. For those of you interested, The website is going across the screen at the bottom right now. We do have a few slots left for our April training. Go ahead and reach out to us at zciacademy.com if you're interested. Thank you all so much and have an amazing, fantastic Tuesday.